Hello everyone! We're back again with more Ace Attorney, and I just realized I forgot to change the title, so good for me. Yay! Look at the back of this guy's head for a minute, guys. It's great, it's amazing. Ace Attorney. There we go. There we go, guys. We got it. Okay. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone's doing good today. I hope you're ready for the game. We are staring at this guy's back like it's symbolism, like we've got his back. Or he trusts me with his back or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, let's have a good time. Look, he's even making a joke. Oh, back again, are you? See, it's a joke. Yes, hello. I've heard all about your investigations. I read the report just now. You found him, eh? Vigil. Yes, luckily. Well, anywho, the laddie doesn't work there no more, so your case is now to do with Barclay. Hey, Manim. Manim's lurking. I hope you're doing good. I wouldn't like you to get the wrong idea about that. Of course, yes. Mr. Vigil stopped working here 10 years ago now, so... Yes, we've seen his dismissal notice, haven't we? He was given the chop. Aye, Kimmer, you can very well. So how about a wee handcuff biscuit? Oh, they really are like little handcuffs, and hard as iron too. So, what brought you down here today? Well, there's something else we would like to ask you about, actually. Is that so? We believe there might have been a document that disappeared from the Genshin Asogi cell. I think it's been called the Asogi Papers or something. You're good, thanks. Hope you're doing good too. I'm good. Awesome. Did I know say Gregson's death is not to do with things that might have happened at Dark Barclay. Leave the past in the past, laddie. Let us not footer a boot with irrelevant details. His expressions changed completely. We're clearly onto something here. Alright. Let's do it. That murderer's botched execution, and the whole miserable escape. They were Barclay's darkest hour, aye. A shocking embarrassment. Because the convict had a collaborator on the prison staff, you mean? Good. Good. Aye, for shame. The coroner who confirmed the death of the man after his execution, Courtney Sith, and my chief warder at the time, Vigil, who was in charge of the whole affair. But Mr. Vigil says he didn't know anything about it. The rascal wouldn't I say otherwise, eh? More handcuffs? Oh, how could I say no? You know, you can never have too much iron in your diet. When Mr. Vigil was handed his dismissal notice as a result of what had happened, he was so despairing, he jumped out of your office window, didn't he? I didn't like to say, but that's just Vigil trying to get out of it. Do you think he wouldn't have jumped out from the shock of his crimes being exposed, eh? I do. You wouldn't say otherwise, though, would you? Of course, can I shun all responsibility myself. I shouldn't have let him deceive me. Actually, there's barely anybody that kens what went on that time now, with Gregson having been murdered and Dr. Sith forbidding her from having any visitors. No visitors? Someone obviously didn't want her giving anything away. Well, we're not going home empty-handed. And I wouldn't dream of sending you packing with now, Kibber. Here, take a handcuff or two. Oh, well, it would be rude to say no. Wouldn't want to become an anemic. I suppose if there's anybody who might still ken about what happened back then, it'll be that lass from the forensics division, Maria Gorey. Maria Gorey? Aye, Sith's daughter. She may have no more, just the one. But the wee Barnes following in her mom's footsteps, didn't I see her without a scalpel in her hand. Oh! Mama, what is this? Ah, where did she spring from? And did she just call the doctor Mama? Mama. Dr. Scythe's daughter, Maria Gori. We could do with talking to her. So, she's Dr. Scythe's daughter, but her surname is Gori? Aye, there's some family history, I'm sure, but I dinna ken the ins and outs of it. She grew up watching her mam working with the bodies of folks who died in strange circumstances, and decided to do the same with her own life. I can understand it myself. Perhaps she was driven by a deep respect for her mother. Perhaps. Anywho, she was in charge of Gregson's autopsy, I believe. Right, and the coroner are responsible for this incomplete report. Someone told me once that the wee lassie always loved their mom's stories about a boot cutting up bodies. There's even a rumor that she used to listen to the funeral march as a lullaby. Well then, perhaps her mother might have told her about the autopsy from the case 10 years ago. Aye, I'd say there's a fighting chance at least. After all, that was a life-changing case for all of us. We really need to speak with Miss Gori herself about this, I think. Well, thank you very much. I'm not happy about any part of this. It took years for Londoners to finally forget the whole professor business. Can you no give up on this, laddie? Stop asking pointless questions. I'm sorry. I don't like dredging up these painful memories for everyone. Can you no just stay away? No, leave me alone and then I come back here, eh? How do you come to ken about that, laddie? There's no many folk even here in the prison who've heard of those papers. Ah, well, I can't tell 'em, Mr. Visual told me. I'm afraid our sources must remain confidential, sir. We've been led to believe the papers are actually a last will and testament, is that right? The professor's, or rather, Genshin Asogi's. Aye, that's right. You're well informed, Jimmy. Oh, is that the end of the silent treatment? But then after the convict's execution, it mysteriously vanished from his cell. Did it? Havers, no. You're off at half-cock there. I think you didn't quite get your facts straight. It was there in the cell, exactly where it should have been. Oh, not what we heard elsewhere. Let me just have a wee look around here. I'm sure I can find it. Aye, here ye are. See? The last will and testament of Genshin Asogi, written with a calligraphy brush. Of course. I cannot read a word of those Japanese squiggles, but I mind it says he leaves all his worldly possessions to his son back in his homeland. Yes, that's correct. That's the gist of it. So these are the Asogi papers? Aye, of course they are. Perhaps written by Asogi. No doubt about it. There's no mystery here, laddie. That's your lot. After all the stramish of that slicer of an execution, we sent the man's possessions back to his clan in Japan, and that was the end of it. I think we ought to try make a record of this, Mr. Naruhodo, just in case. One thing before you go on your way, Mr. Naruhodo. Hereby requests upon my death any and all materials while belonging to me delivered to my son. I accept my fate in this foreign land, knowing that I will never see my homeland or family again, but I regret nothing about my chosen path. Oh, yes? Those papers are naught to do with Gregson's death. I prefer it if you didn't make me no mention of them outside this office, or rather, I just prefer it. Consider it an order from the highest levels of our government. I understand. Well, that means we'll be using it at some point, probably. I don't know where to go now. Maybe forensics, do you think, maybe? Okay. The plot continues. More shinking. Someone's sharpening again. You're still not dead? Anyway, I don't have anything more to tell you about that specimen. Actually, we're not here to ask you about Inspector Gregson. We were hoping to talk about your mother, Dr. Scythe. It's something that the governor of Barclay Prison mentioned. He said that she was responsible for confirming the death of the professor after his execution. Oh, that's not all Mama did. Sorry? My Mama carried out the autopsy of Clint Van Zeeks as well. What? Really? The brother of Lord Van Zeeks, the professor's final victim. The idea of carrying out an autopsy on a member of the aristocracy was completely unthinkable back then, but the detective in charge of the investigation insisted, and it was miraculously authorized. That detective being Inspector Gregson, of course. Quite an accomplishment for one man. Hey, Stars! You're the first one here. What's up? Good to see you here today. That autopsy provided the vital clue needed to arrest the killer. And Mama was there for that historic event. What does that all mean? You know, that amazing autopsy happened right here in this very room. I'm doing good, thanks. Today was a cool day. Had a good time. The professor and Clint Van Zeeks. They both spent their final moments before their burial on that dissection table right there. So this lab, Mama's lab, was instrumental in some of the country's most important events. She really is proud of her mother. I wonder if you'd tell us more about exactly what happened back then, Dr. Gory. Okay. The professor's execution was Mama's first big case. She had to be in attendance at Barclay Prison's execution chamber and sign the certificate to confirm the convict's death. Mama is the best coroner in the world, you know. I was so proud of her. But the execution didn't exactly take place. No, and worse still, Mama actually helped with the jailbreak. I didn't want to know. Oh dear, you found out recently, you mean? I believed in her, in Mama, but now I wonder if I'm starting down the same path as her. Maybe because you omitted the time of death on this autopsy report? But that's because Lord Strongheart forbade you from including it. Just like Mama, I'm sure she was coerced by somebody too. Yes, that's my feeling as well. There's no doubt there were powerful forces at play 10 years ago. The execution couldn't have been staged without a lot of people at the prison knowing it. Obviously, the prison governor must have been in on it as well. The big man with the little handcuffs? According to what he told us, he was tricked by the chief warder. He says he knew nothing about it. Of course he said that. I'd say the same thing. Just who was behind that jailbreak all those years ago? Who was it? Guys, who was it? You mentioned the autopsy of Clint Van Zeeks. It was at a time when carrying out autopsies of murder victims was very unusual. It's still not a practice that's observed in our country, even now. It turned out that he was the professor's final victim, and when the autopsy was performed, Mama was present, although only as the secondary assistant. The person leading the procedure was called Dr. John H. Wilson. That's right, my daddy! And there was one other person present, the primary assistant. He was a visiting student from the Far East. Wait, a visiting student? It must have been my father, Eugen Mikotoba. I had no idea Professor Mikotoba has been involved in something so important. But the outcome of that historic autopsy was the discovery of a vital piece of evidence that led to the capture of the professor. So that's how they came to identify Genshin Asogi as the infamous mass murderer. you happen to know anything about that piece of evidence? Can you tell us any more? Would you like to see the records for yourself? Where? Would that be alright? What's the point of keeping records if people can't look at them? They're filed under V at the back of those cupboards, with the other records from the last decade. Thank you! Let's see. Van Zeeks. That's strange. What, Mr. Naruhodo? They aren't here. There's nothing under Van Zeeks. There must be. Perhaps somebody took them away? No one's allowed to take documents related to the professor. Came out of this room. But you're right, they're gone. Well, when was the last time somebody looked at them? Do you remember? It was... Oh yes, I remember now. It was 2 years ago. A consulting detective came one day, saying he'd like to see the records. No, you don't mean... Herlock Sholmes was his name. Deep down, I knew that was coming. Do you think he stole the records? Oh no, surely not. Iris, that can't be right, can it? Iris? Uh-oh. This is one of those uh-oh moments. Runo? I hope you don't mind, but... What is it, Iris? I've just remembered something very important I have to do. I'm going to have to leave you now. Oh, this is very sudden, Iris. Well, we'll come with you then. No, there's no need. You and Runo can take your time here. Bye for now then. Good luck. Wait a minute, little girl. Me? I remember now. You've been here before, haven't you? Have you, Iris? Yes, 2 years ago, when the detective came. You were with him, weren't you? You were a living specimen here then, too. That's the way it usually works, yes. Was I? I really don't remember. Anyway, sorry, but I must dash. Wait, Iris? I'll brew up a pot for you when I get home. What's the matter with her? She's behaving really strangely all of a sudden. Well, in that case, we won't keep you any longer either. It's been quite a while since I had any visitors. This was really fun. But next time you come, I'll prefer it if you are ready for this dissection. I can't make any promises, sorry. It's a bit strange that the records of Clint Van Zeeks' autopsy have disappeared. But I think we've asked all we came to ask now. Now the question is, where the heck do we go now? Maybe back home? Nope. Let's go everywhere and see where we gotta go. Great Waterloo Hotel. Prison? Oh, I missed a spot. I'm pretty sure it's not here. Whoops. Oh, it was just at the prison. Stupid. The room. Maybe? Ah! The plot that brings us here. The police are still busily investigating in here then. But Ginny's nowhere to be seen. Where is she? Yes, it has been blissfully quiet, hasn't it? Perhaps she's out investigating on her own, practicing what her boss taught her. Well, I expect she'll be back before too long. Shall we wait? Actually, there's something different about this room since the last time we were here, isn't there? We should always use the time to investigate more thoroughly. Is it, this down here? This little trunk wasn't here before, was it? Oh, it appears to be made of metal. It must be very heavy. I wonder to whom it belongs. There's some initials on the outside. Look, TG. Let's ask one of the policemen if they know how it came to be here. Oi, what do you think you're doing? There she is. That's my trunk, that is. Hands off. Gina? Where were you hiding? I don't know. You leave something unattended for a few seconds, and every Tom, Dick, and Harry's got his greedy eyes on it. Just a wild guess, Gina, but... What? Spit it out, Odo. Is it fair to say that you've only owned that trunk since this morning's trial? What are you trying to say? Come on, this trunk goes with me everywhere. Always has. Where have you been the last year? Trying not to incur your wrath, mainly. Alright, let's talk. You should hear them talking at the yard now. They should be ashamed of themselves. They're saying that it was the boss who killed all them bludgers. Ah, you mean the whole Reaper thing? Yeah. Apparently, the boss was investigating stuff that no one else at the yard knew nothing about. Stuff to do with all them criminals what got off scot-free. Yes, the one prosecuted by Lord Van Zieks who used bribery and corruption to evade conviction. Well, then obviously, it was that bloomin' Reaper that given the orders, weren't it? But why would people be suspecting Inspector Gregson of being involved in the killings? There was a notebook hidden in his office. Oh no, this doesn't sound good. It added details about all the crimes that have been pegged as the Reaper's work. What? No! Did you see it, Gina? Did you see that notebook? They wouldn't flamin' let me, 'cause I'm just an apprentice apparently. But it was me who found it, and he was my boss. That's right. I was pretty miffed about it, so I sneaked a peek at what it said anyway. Oh, that's our Gina. So, you managed to see what was written in Gregson's secret notebook anyway, did you? Way I see it, it's my right to read what he wrote. And what had he written, Gina? Dates, times, places, names, an whole long list of them. All details about the bludger supposed to have been done in by the Reaper. But there couldn't be an explanation for that. Perhaps it was a record of the Inspector's investigations into the Reaper's activities. Exactly, that's what I said. That's the first thing you'd think, right? As it happens, it was full of names I'd recognize anyway. Well, the Reaper's targets were almost exclusively known leaders of London's criminal underworld. Well, yeah, but there was one name right at the end of that. One of that was a bit odd. Hey, Kenny Lee, me good eye, nothing much. I hope you're doing good, Kenny Lee. Sorry, I was looking at the words very intensely. But it's good to see you. At the end of the list, you mean? I'm pretty sure the date against it was 31st of October. Halloween. Oh, the day before the Inspector was found dead. So, what was the odd name? Yes, if it weren't like a name I've seen before, it was something like, Nah, it's no good. I can't remember it. I don't think it was an English name, put it that way. Oh dear, what a pity. There was something else too, I don't know if it matters, but the same name kept popping up over and over. Shin, it was. Don't suppose it means anything, but... Did you say Shin? What? Does it mean something? Lord Van Zieks knew the name too. He mentioned her as well. The woman who actually did the deeds. And now we find out her name appeared in Gregson's secret notebook. We haven't seen you for a little while, have we, Gina? Well, of course not. I've been busy, ain't I? Investigating and that. Got... the lads at the yard are trying to trace the boss's movements the day before it happened. The day before? That would be the undercover investigation into the Red-Headed League, then. Only the boss didn't go, did he? You found some cave what was pretending to be him, didn't you, Odo? Some cove, rather. Not cave. Yes, it was Mr. Vigil who actually went to the park on Lime Street that day, posing as Gregson. Well, anyway, you ain't the only one turning stuff up. I've got me own ways of getting results. When me and my partner here get together, there's nothing we can't track down. Oh, little Toby. He's such a faithful friend. So, have you tracked anything down then? What do you think, eh? Of course we have. Can't tell you though. Police business, innit? Anyway, point is, if you'll ever need any help, you know who to turn to, right? Me and the Hellhound here. Right, because he looks oh so hellish. Honest. The Hellhound. Gina, about your Hellhound there. Chief Inspector Toby, you mean? He's the pride of the force, he is. In Japanese, police dog means something quite different, not altogether nice to those involved in crime. But he's in Britain. It's a wonderful compliment, it seems, for a canine at least. It should be. After all, in the great exhibition case the other day, it was Toby here who managed to locate Drebber's workshop. Maybe it's time for another demonstration of what the super dog can do, eh? Do we have something the Chief Inspector could catch the scent of, I wonder? No idea, so let's go down the list.
Take that!
Well, Chief Inspector Toby, if you wouldn't mind having a sniff of this. Sniff, 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 sniff. Woof! The Chief Inspector said woof to that Odo. Yes, I heard. I think perhaps that particular item didn't excite him very much. Ain't you got nothing else? I'll have to think. Oh no, do we have to go through the entire conversation? Gina, about your Hellhound there? Oh, you want to see another demonstration of his amazing nose, eh? Well, we're trying to trace Inspector Gregson's movements, so... Come on, Odo, what you got for him? We have something, the Chief Inspector? The picture, obviously. Yes, do I remember, what happened last time? And what the facts of this case are and what I gotta do? Nope!
Take that!
Well, Chief Inspector Toby, if you wouldn't mind having a sniff of this. Sniff, 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 sniff. He might be a little too keen, don't you think? Arrgh! The Chief Inspector made a short work of Gina there. Woof! Ah, look what he's gone to. Oh my, that junk nearly still has a very strong scent of Inspector Gregson. In other words, it must have belonged to him. Oh, alright. It's a fair cop, I suppose. And you nearly got away with it, too. You always talk so proudly of Chief Inspector Toby's nose and what it can achieve. Did it not cross your mind that we might identify something that was right next to us? Yeah, that was a bit of a bloomer, weren't it? That's enough now then, Gina. Nah, I think it's time you told us the truth about that trunk. It weren't like that. It just weren't. What are you talking about? I have what's going on in that head of yours, or I know what's going on in that head of yours, but that ain't what happened. Alright then, what did happen? Well, like I said before, we were trying to trace the boss's movements. Well, I let Toby here have a whiff of the boss's overcoat. And as soon as I'd done that, we went off like a shot. Straight to that sandwich. To a sandwich? Not to a bag of chips? Mr. Naruhodo, I believe Gina means the witness. Oh, I forgot about that sandwich. Yeah, he had it in between the wooden boards of his, the boss's trunk. You mean when they heard the sound like a gunshot and all piled up in here? Exactly. He nabbed it from the scene. Goodness. Me and the Chief Inspector gave that sandwich a good grilling, and you know what he said? I thought I might fetch a good price, and the chap would be needing it anymore, so... But that's all I did. Nothing more. Nothing less. Would you, Adam, and leave the cheek of it, eh? Stealing the dead boss's stuff to flog. So Miss Venus wasn't the only one to meddle with the scene of the crime, then. How could they? Hey, Wux. There, I said it. Hey, Wux. Did I say it right, Minim? Did I succeed? I hope so. Anyway, that's how it happened. And it's pretty much a decent trunk, so I figured I might as well make use of it. Is there something wrong with that, eh? Well, maybe you and Mr. Sandwich should try to find the answer to that question together. I think perhaps the trunk should be turned over to the police, don't you? What are you on about? I am the police. I am the police. Gina, if you wouldn't mind, could we maybe examine it? Yeah, alright then. Do what you want with it. Thank you. We shall make the detailed record of our examination of the evidence. Hey, Ultima from Wux? What? Who's Wux? What do you mean from Wux? What is that? Grr? What's the matter with Toby? Why is he acting so aggressively toward me all of a sudden? Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, be careful! It must be the trunk! Ah! Thud. Toby, oi, what are you doing? You're gonna lick his face off! Mr. Naruhodo! Mr. Naruhodo! Gina, quickly! Hail a carriage! I guess we died. Shame. Game over, guys. Game over for us. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, are you alright? Miss Susato. Ah, conscious again at last. A blessed relief, my dear fellow. After all, to drop dead after a moderate licking by a small terrier, most unseemly. What is or isn't seemly is irrelevant here, Mr. Sholmes. I'm so glad there's no lasting damage. How are you feeling? I'm fine, thank you. Did you bring me back here? Ah, what's this on my head? A bandage? Sadly, we had no ice, so that's a compress of sugar water. Sugar water? Don't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. It's a first aid treatment that my father taught me. Oh, thank you. So, let us take tea while you're feeling up to it. But of course, no sugar in the patient's cup. The bump on my head is throbbing sweetly enough, don't worry. Hee hee. Whenever you feel ready then. Instead of what to do, let's examine this guy. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Sholmes. My dear fellow, think nothing of it. I must say I was quite startled when I heard you'd been attacked by a dog. For a moment, I feared that infamous murderer of so many had come back from the dead. You mean the professor? Fortunately, I see your prized throat is unscathed. That stiff, turned-up collar of yours obviously afforded to some welcome protection. Was I that close to death? All I really remember is the dog licking my face over and over and over again. Well, if you wish to avoid such troubles in future, a little mustard spread on the cheeks should do the trick. I should think that would balance the sweetness of your bandage rather splendidly. Okay. You alright, Mr. Naruhodo? It's rather unusual to find ourselves in the middle of our investigations, here. It's just occurred to me that I might have forgotten something when we left this morning. Please don't worry, as long as you continue to investigate thoroughly, you won't go very far. Oh yes, of course, I must get back to work as soon as possible. Wow, that is not a lot of clues of what I need to do. About this, Miss Susato, do you notice anything unusual about it, perhaps? I'm so sorry, I don't know. and will double my efforts and spend more time doing research so that next time I won't let you down. And perhaps you're taking your role as judicial assistant a little too far. Ah. Have you seen this huge gash across the side of the trunk here? It's gone right through the leather there and into the metal behind. Gosh, for a metal chest like this to have been so badly damaged, whatever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. I wonder how it happened. No idea. Whoops. Let's have a look inside. Okay. Letter. Look, there's something inside. Ooh, let's see. It appears to be a passport authorizing him to travel overseas. Was Inspector Gregson about to go on a trip abroad then? Perhaps the date departure might tell us something. That was... Oh, what is it? It was for travel on 31st of October, just one day before the incident. What? Really? Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered? What could it mean? Oh. Look at the stark stain here, do you think? Yes, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood. Ugh, I knew you were going to say that. So that presumably means that with this present at the scene was... This was present at the scene where Inspector Gregson was killed. It's the most logical conclusion, yes. I think Gina's been carrying this around with her. If you didn't know any better, I suppose it does look like a grease stain from all the fish and chips. I'm not seeing anything else. Alright. Guess we'll head to all the areas again then, huh? Is this place open again? This is the part where I wish Captain Chips was here. Captain Chips, where are you at the moment? Can you appear? If worse comes to worse, guys, I'll go online. Look up where I gotta go next. Cause wow, is it not obvious right now? Doubt it's here. Nope, do not want to investigate that. Sholmes Suite. Oh, maybe here. It's here!
Mit dem Schwarzbiergebot bodend wie ein Feuerberg.
What?
Den Schlund es mir verbrannt. Ach, Hopfen
What on earth is going on in here? Am I having a bad dream? No, it's an old German folk song. Rather a fine rendition, I think. That's the least of my concerns. Iris? Iris, what's the matter? Who is that that relaxed gentleman over there? Iris? Is she even listening? Excuse me, sir. I do apologize for troubling you whilst you're singing so merrily, but would you be kind enough to explain the situation? Well, that worked. A crooning gentleman and a mute young girl. A rather tantalizing juxtaposition. And one that appears to have incited the gods of deduction within me to find their voices too. Ah, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... The strains of reasoning within me are playing now as a delightful duet. One melody sings of a reunion full of nostalgia, whilst the other is a morose theme about the great secret you're trying to so desperately to conceal, Iris. She's turned as white as a sheet. So as usual, you've instantly seen to the very heart of the matter. And by the time my own brief performance is over, I feel sure this gentleman's song will reach its finale. So then, to Music Land, where all the sweetness and delicacy is in harmony. Pray, do enjoy Sherlock Holmes' latest logic and reasoning spectacular. So, what's going on here? Is that guy dead? Man's identity. Firstly, we consider the gentleman's nationality. Clearly he's a German with no grasp of the English language, as evidenced by the Germanic song he sings and his apparent inability to understand when asked to desist. So, why is the man here at all, and in such apparently high spirits? The answer, of course, Iris, is clearly known to you. Indeed, we need only follow the gaze of those bright young eyes to unravel this particular of this mystery. The reason for this man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the herbal tea. You obviously offered our German guest a cup of your latest herbal blend. The tea's delectable flavor has made the man's spirits soar, and resulted in this joyful ditty tumbling incessantly from his lips. I eagerly await a sampling the flavor myself, that I may join the fellow in his state of elation. Now, to the next question. Who exactly is this gentleman unavailing himself so thoroughly of the settee? As it happens, a number of years ago now, a certain gentleman of German origin engaged my services in solving a particularly delicate case. It required the retrieval of letters once sent to an acquaintance that might have proved problematic. In order to conceal his noble identity, he also arrived at my office in a mask. The gentleman's name was Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund von Ormstein. Where have I heard that name? The King of Germany. If my memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. Yes, there can be no question that mask belongs to the King of Germany. It would appear that His Majesty remembers the fine service I afforded him, and has decided to show his face again, mask and all, in order to express his gratitude. A well-mannered monarch indeed, wouldn't you agree, my dear fellow? So the identity of this masked visitor is in fact my former client, the King of Germany. Indeed, his son is currently in London as well, enjoying the wonders of the great exhibition. I forgot who that is. Sorry. Person. Girls. Silence. Which leaves us with one remaining imponderable. Yes, you, young Iris. But your apparently inexplicable silence is unable to hide the truth. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside the knapsack. A £5 note, I believe. I must say, as your compatriot, I'm deeply saddened. It would appear that you've allowed yourself to be bribed into silence by His Royal Highness, earning yourself some spending money in exchange for keeping quiet about the King's secret. And now, the final piece of the puzzle. What is the secret you strive to hide with your silence, Iris? Ah, yes, we need only follow that brief involuntary twitch of your eyes to find the answer. You were attempting to abscond with the coffee cup. My favorite coffee cup, in fact. Or should I say, the handle of my favorite coffee cup? It appears that His High-Spirited Highness broke it in the midst of his hijinks. Which leads us to the sad truth. My favorite coffee cup has been broken by the King of Germany, and Iris, you try to conceal it from me. I shall have a bill sent via governmental channels to the German royal family for its replacement. Okay. Yep, I'm sure that's why. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes's great deduction of this painful puzzle. Yeah.
Dem Schwarzbiergebot. Modend Wien, Feuerberg.
Well, with your silence as well, the fellow's jovial warbling rather rings in the ears, does it not? Mr. Sholmes, I must say something does rather trouble me. Pray, Miss Susato, do tell. His Royal Highness doesn't appear to have moved a muscle since we arrived. Ah, and you haven't said a word either, Iris. If Mr. Sholmes has it all right, you might as well own up to it now. Your reasoning is entirely without substance, I must admit. And one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, another grievance, Mr. Naruhodo? Surely not. Well, I actually read the story of that case recently, the one you were just describing, and according to that, at least, it wasn't the King of Germany, it was the King of Bohemia. Goodness, was it? Yes, that's quite true. Master Gotz, the prince, testified to that in court. In his words, I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. I would ask you to keep that minor error to yourselves. It could easily become quite a scandal. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that it's our turn now to make some corrections to a number of minor errors that may have slipped in. Yes, even Mr. Sholmes is willing to admit he might be slightly wide of the mark this time, although it's clear that Iris is definitely hiding something. Need to find out the truth behind this mysterious scene. But one truth is incontrovertible. My favorite coffee cup is no more. So, shall we embark again on a joint presentation of Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular? Yep. Firstly, we consider the gentleman's nationality. Clearly he is German with no grasp of the English language, as evidenced by the Germanic song he sings, and his apparent inability to understand when asked to desist. But why is the man here at all, and in such apparently high spirits? The answer, of course, Iris, is clearly known to you. Indeed, we need only follow the gaze of those bright young eyes to unravel the particular part of this mystery. The reason for this man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the herbal tea. So what? Is it some mix of herbs that's giving you the urge to sing? Goodness, I should like to try some. Like to hear your singing, but this man... Just how long does he intend to keep up with that tune, do you suppose? As I said, he's been stock still the entire time. If you look closely, his lips aren't moving either. Ah, so I'm not sure what's actually responsible for the spirited singing. I suspect the answer lies at the end of Iris's gaze. What's that? Save the game? Good idea. Alright, actual thing... is this thing moving? Wait, this is a gramophone, still rarely seen in our own country. The sound certainly appears to be coming from the horn, but machines singing? That can't be right. Science and technology are changing the world rapidly, Mr. Naruhodo. What right is changing too? What's right is changing too? It's too much for my brain. Well, at least we found our answer. Yep.
Take that!
Hey, there you are, Captain Chips. How you doing? What's up? The reason for the man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the gramophone. Indeed, for no well-bred gentleman would break into an obscure folk song when making a social call. In other words, this gentleman isn't singing at all. In fact, it would appear that the fellow is unconscious. Sorry, I haven't felt well for a moment. Oh, that sucks. Feel betters now? Nowses? Ah, the music seems to have stopped now. I ask you, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Why would I have purchased a recording of that gibberish? How should I know? Well, never mind. On with the deduction. Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of this of the settee? Is that Susato's father? Apparently he's German. And I don't, unless Susato's father's German, I don't think it's him. He has a mustache too. Did Susato's father have a mustache? I don't know. We don't know where he's come from, or even if he's alive right now. Or why Iris is not talking. As it happens, a number of years ago now, a certain gentleman of German origin engaged my services in solving a particularly delicate case. He required the retrieval of letters once sent to an acquaintance that might have proved problematic. In order to conceal his noble identity, he also arrived at my office in a mask. The gentleman's name was Wilhelm Gottsreich Reich Sigismund von Ormstein, the King of Germany. If my memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. Yes, there can be no question, the mask belongs to the King of Germany. Although we've already established that it was actually the King of Bohemia, it seems Mr. Sholmes intends to persist with his Germany theory for some reason. Come to think of it, the young prince was wearing a mask as well, wasn't he? Master Gotts? The boy whom you had in tears? Don't remind me, or anyone else. Do you suppose all members of the aristocracy of mainland Europe wear masks? I'm sure they do. Well, probably. Anyway, the point is that mask doesn't belong to any king. Well, let's see who it belongs to then. No, that's right. As we well know, because we can identify the true owner of this mask. Belong to the King of Germany. I don't know. Did any of these people have a mask? I don't remember. You?
Take that!
Nope. Who? Not Susato's father. By the way, Captain Chips, me and my Sunday friend, we watched it in Animu. She made her decision on the first Animu. You?
Take that!
Who? What do you end up watching? Well, apparently it's the second anime I showed her and not the first. The first was the anime that I showed everyone back when back when I showed people animus, that being Higurashi When They Cry. But the second anime she chose was a familiar one that everyone would recognize. One involving soldiers that could fly through the air, and big walls, and titans.
Take that!
Also, Captain Chips, help. Help, please. Help. Yeah, she chose Attack on Titan. So she went safe with this choice. She went very familiar and safe.
Take that!
It's Baron von Zeeks, obviously. Guys, I have no freaking idea who this is, or how I could tell a mask. I think I remember, like, a single mask. The mask is Kazuma's. Oh, I don't remember. I don't even remember that mask at all. Kazuma?
Take that!
Kazuma. Yep, completely forgot he wore a mask. For, like, a little bit. Yes, there can be no question that mask belongs to Kazuma Asogi. In other words, my memory is subliminally unreliable. Only you can try to make that sound positive. Kazuma's mask has been languishing on this metal chest for several days, although that doesn't explain why the gentleman is wearing it now. But it is now a simple matter to determine our guest's true identity. After all, the gentleman is unconscious. We need only excuse ourselves in advance, gently lift the mask, and peer beneath it. I don't believe it. Ah! Father! I'm afraid, Miss Susato, you must be mistaken. No! I think not, Mr. Sholmes! Then it would appear our logic and reasoning has once again revealed the truth. The mysterious visitor is my unconscious father, Yujin Mikotoba. Logic and reasoning, or just looking insane? It's all well and good, but, he's alive, right? Which leaves us with one remaining imponderable. Yes, you, young Iris. But your apparently inexcusable silence is unable to hide the truth. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside the knapsack. So that's a 5-pound note sticking out from Iris's knapsack, is it? Oh dear, I can't be sure. Most money that we encounter is in coin form. I know, I'm not even sure if we've seen any banknotes here in Britain at all, have we? But anyway, Father would never have paid money for Iris' silence. Certainly seems like the silent type himself, though, judging by his present state. There must be some other reason for Iris' silence, I suppose. By the way, when I asked my friend, Captain Chips, on what genre she liked, the first thing she said was horror. So, I have a few. Not that many, but I have a few. That and mystery. Perhaps what Iris is trying to so hard not to give away with her eyes is something entirely different. God freaking damn it. Yeah, sadly, you are not one for, Alright, this is all we can see, apparently. But you're not one for knowing a lot about, that series, huh? Mystery? She might enjoy a bit of Gosick. Gosick! What other mysteries would I have? Would Death Note be considered mystery? An Ace Attorney, definitely. The metal chest, it contains important documents, doesn't it? Yes, details of all the cases Mr. Sholmes had worked on over the years. Death Note leans thriller. Thriller! How about Case Closed? That's a good one. That's a detective one. Written up by Iris' father, if I'm remembering correctly. Iris insists that the chest is kept locked at all times. She's never once shown me inside. Well, its contents are invaluable to her, I suppose, and entirely irreplaceable. But look at it now. The catch is unlocked for once. Ah! So it is. That's hard to ignore. Detective Loki Ragnarok? That would be a good one. Very. Never seen that chest unlocked before, in all the time we've been staying here at Baker Street. I think next time she mentioned that she liked cats, and I could find a cat Animu that I own for her. And there's one Animu that's like that. So I think I'll show her Little Busters next time. Whoops.
Take that!
Yay! Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that metal chest. An excellent observation, for upon closer inspection, there is something different about the chest's appearance. It's kept locked at all times, yet now the catch is open. Evidently, this has something to do with your refusal to speak, Iris. But it's a simple enough matter to incite you to speak, I'm sure. I merely need to open this chest. Here we go. No! Hurley, don't! Oh. Oh dear. But, Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! Hurley! Aw, he's dead. Never! Oh, Hurley, I told you not to open it! Ah, so you found your voice now, Iris. Ah! In other words, what just happened clearly reveals the truth here. Yes, the real reason for your silence up until now is... This is somewhat different to the usual dance of deduction you perform with Mr. Sholmes, isn't it? Well, he's left me alone on the ballroom floor, so I'm going to dance the next part solo. And anyway, I need to get to the bottom of this for my own peace of mind. Now then, Iris isn't usually the silent type, so... You mean you don't actually know the answer yet, despite that knowing point of the finger before? Miss Susato, sometimes a man needs to point his finger first and think later. Oh, well, if you say so. I think we better examine Iris more closely and try to rescue the situation then. Alright, Iris. The real reason for your silence until now. Key. That's a key she's holding. Look, I'm sure that wasn't in her hands before, was it? No, you're quite right. It appeared as if by magic. That's strange. A big old iron key. Where did it materialize from?
Take that!
Yes, the real reason for your silence until now is that key behind your back. Ah! When Mr. Sholmes was thrown into the air before... Just before you called out to try to stop him, you slipped something out of your mouth. That something is the key now in your hands. No doubt, the key to the chest. You're so clever, Runo. So now it becomes clear. Thanks to Mr. Sholmes' graphic demonstration, you can well imagine what happened here. But... Professor Mikotoba also opened that metal chest only to be punched into the air and land sprawled on the settee. But wait, that doesn't explain all the facts. What about the stylish scarf and the cup of tea? And above all, why would he be wearing Kazuma-sama's mask? Well, for those curious details, I can think of only one explanation. Clearly an unbelievable miracle took place in this room. Isn't that right, Iris? Ah! Consider how the room was arranged before this whole painful experience took place. When Professor Mikotoba opened the chest, completely unaware of what awaited him inside, the mask was flung into the air just as he was, only to land neatly on his face when it fell back down. And the teacup's journey through the air ended when it caught on the unconscious professor's fingers. You mean to say that the stylish scarf is actually just a tablecloth? This is the great detective's office, after all, a place of miraculous deductions. Ah. Oh. Would you expect anything less? Yes, you're right. It happened exactly as you said. Brilliant, Runo. This concludes Ryunosuke Naruhodo's great deduction of this punchy puzzle. So then, why don't I make a fresh pot of tea for us all?
Objection!
An admirable performance, Mr. Naruhodo. But in the final act of the show here, you'd rather miss everything of importance. Mr. Sholmes, if you would cast your mind back to my earlier deduction. Iris, clearly you're hiding a great secret. Ah! She is, from the look on her face. Mr. Sholmes must be right. Whatever that great secret is, the cat isn't out of the bag yet. So I put it to you again. You were attempting to abscond with that coffee cup. It really is a shame about Mr. Sholmes' cup. It must have been smashed when Professor Mikatoba opened the chest. Oh dear, so many things seem to have been broken here. But now that the deduction has taken a different direction, Iris doesn't quite seem to be trying to hide the broken cup anymore. In other words, her great secret is something else. Let's put our observational skills to work here one final time then. By the way, Captain Chips, I haven't unveiled one of our great secrets to our Saturday morning Animu showcases. Sometimes I show you very bad movies. So pretty soon, I think after next week's Animu, I'm gonna show her something bad too. Okay. I do see this cup on the ground, but I can't like glimpse at it. Coffee cup. Knapsack. Surely this time, at last, the knapsack is going to be the answer. I'm really not sure why you're so intent on showing Iris's bag to be complicit in these events. Don't be too cruel with it. She did say that she likes cats. Why not show her a cat that can talk? Because it's a sizable bag, big enough to carry things around, Mr. Naruhodo. That's what bags are for. So, the knapsack might never see the limelight, you mean? I really wouldn't like to say. Hair. Coffee cup. Mr. Sholmes' favorite cup. Or what's left of it, just the handle. It was obviously hurled into the air along with Professor Mikatoba. Only it had been this cup that caught on his finger before it hit the floor. Yes, but anyway, whatever Iris is trying to hide, it's clearly not this handle. Ooh, that's unnecessary. Unnecessary, but also very necessary. This will be the trial run at least. And before you ask, but Ultima, why not show her that Grumpy Cat movie instead? She already saw it. Possibly even before I saw that movie. I'm gonna try the knapsack, guys.
Take that!
Okay, not that. Okay. So I examined the things already, but nothing else is like being shown though. Knapsack. Is there anything in the knapsack that we're supposed to be looking at? I might need your help here, Captain Chips. Am I looking at Iris's front or back for this one? Or sides for some reason? Are we looking back or side? Or, yeah, front, back, or sides? Or is it the handle for some reason? Wait, oh, I didn't even see that. Ah, look! There seems to be more papers there. Is Iris trying to hide them underneath the tray? The insignia, Mr. Naruhodo. It's an official Scotland Yard document. What? But why would Iris have... You must ask her. An official Scotland Yard document.
Take that!
Never mind. You were attempting to abscond with that case file. Iris, as you know very well, nothing escapes the attention of a great detective. Oh no! We visited Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory earlier today, and Dr. Gorey informed us that the autopsy report of Clint Van Zeeks had gone missing. Clint Van Zeeks? Yes, I do seem to recall that some years ago I asked to see the report in question You were with me, weren't you, Iris? You mean it was you, Iris? So those papers you have there are... I'm sorry. Forgive me! Well, we made the girl cry. Good for us. Elementary. In truth, I would like to have thought I could have predicted the booby-trap chest, but it caught me completely off guard. I was very nearly the late consulting Detective Herlock Sholmes. I'm sorry, Hurley. So you mean this autopsy report really is... Yes, I took it from the lab, even though I knew it was very important. Was there something in it that troubled you, Iris? Not exactly something that troubled me. Something that I've been looking for. When I saw this report, when I saw the writing in it, I knew it was Daddy's. The writing? Uh-oh. Your father's writing? What do you really mean? Iris? It must be something that's hard for her to talk about. Forgive me for interrupting, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes, what is it? I feel as though the poor unconscious gentleman on the settee has been somewhat forgotten. Father! Perhaps we should find our guest somewhere more peaceful to rest. Mr. Naruhodo, yes? Would you be so kind as to lend him your bed? We must do our very best to make him comfortable, I feel. Oh, yes, of course, I'll help you carry him up. So will I. No, I can manage alone, thank you. We have tea to enjoy. We wouldn't want Iris' brew to stew. Because there's no better way to make the professor comfortable than dragging him upstairs like a trunk. I wonder, perhaps that was deliberate. Maybe Mr. Sholmes is making himself scarce to give Iris the chance to talk more freely. We must use this opportunity to talk with Iris and find out what's going on. What's going on, kid? Would you like to tell us about it, Iris? About your father? I'm sure I told you before, didn't I? That Daddy used to be Hurley's partner. Yes, and that notes about all the cases they solved together are kept inside that metal chest. That's right. Hurley told me, you see? He said that Daddy's somewhere far away now, so we can't meet. That's one way of describing it. Then, when I secretly unlocked the chest and read through the papers inside, I started to build up a picture in my head of what Daddy must be like. Well, that's only natural. You're just like any other girl of your age. I read that Daddy was a professor of medical science, so I studied and took my degree too. Well, that's only natural, I suppose. In that respect, you're not quite like any other girl of your age, though. But there was one thing that I could never find out. Daddy's name. Oh! His name wasn't anywhere on any of the notes he'd make about his work with Hurley. But then one day... That's what happened, is it? When you saw this autopsy report, you finally managed to work it out. Is that right? Yes. So it was the handwriting in the report that caught her eye. When I saw the writing on that report, I could hardly believe it. I know that handwriting. I thought to myself, because it was the same as the writing you'd seen on your father's case notes? Exactly. I was desperate to compare the two properly. I needed to see them side by side. I asked the doctor in the laboratory, but I was told I couldn't take the report away. And even worse, I was told that was the first and last time we'd be allowed even to look at it in there. So you decided to steal it. when I compared the autopsy report with the case notes I had here, there was no doubt. The handwriting was exactly the same. It was Daddy's. And the signature of the coroner at the bottom of the autopsy report read Dr. John H. Wilson. So that's how I finally found out. I learned Daddy's name at last. I see. Ever since then, I've called myself Iris Wilson, and that's also what I had when I had this brilliant idea of writing stories all about Daddy's exciting times with Hurley. I decided then and there that I would write the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Oh, Iris, I had no idea the stories had quite such a deep personal significance to you. I can see why the autopsy report was so important to her now, and why she was prepared to break the law to get her hands on it. So she should be arrested now, right? Obviously. I must apologize, Iris. This is really all my fault. Hurley, I made a promise, you see, that until the time was right, I'd keep the details about your father a secret. I know. I've been very naughty. I'll take the autopsy report back to Dr. Gorey and apologize. I promise. Yes, we'll go together, I think. Then, let me look after it for you until we get there. I must go and water my herbs, I think. I'll see you all later. Poor Iris. She must be feeling awful. I know Mr. Sholmes is here for her, but still. Ah! What? How? What's the meaning of this, Mr. Sholmes? Mr. Sholmes? Oh, dear me. So, you've noticed, I see. But that would mean... What on earth's the matter, Mr. Sato? You've turned as white as a sheet. It's this autopsy report, Mr. Naruhodo. The one from 10 years ago. The writing isn't Dr. Wilson's at all. Huh? What do you mean? How could you possibly know that? Because I know this writing very well. This writing? It's my father's. What? What? Professor Mikatoba's? Indeed, it's true. And now you know, my dear fellows. No, I don't know anything. What on earth does all of this mean, Mr. Sholmes? Because the idea that's slowly forming in my mind is just too extraordinary to believe. Please, you have to explain. What does this mean now? So, this autopsy report was actually penned by Professor Mikatoba then? But that makes no sense. It's not possible, surely. Not possible, my dear fellow. Pray take a deep breath and think again. Yes, you're right. In some ways, it actually makes a great deal of sense. It does? 10 years ago, is when Father returned to Japan after his extended study tour in Britain. And prior to his return, where was Dr. Mikatoba engaged? Ah, of course! He was an assistant in Dr. Wilson's laboratory, learning about forensic science. And as an assistant, he would have aided with the dissection work, making detailed notes, which would be assembled into the full autopsy report. Once the work was complete, the head coroner would check the contents and put his signature on the document. In other words, the only writing of Dr. Wilson's in the report would be his signature at the end. I see. So Iris got the wrong end of the stick, you mean? She saw that and assumed the whole report had been written by Dr. John H. Wilson. Which is very understandable, of course. What a complicated situation. Okay. Thinking about it, most of what we know about you, Mr. Sholmes, comes from the published stories of your exploits. Yes, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, written by Iris. And we really have no way of knowing what's fact and what's fiction. Most troubling for you, my dear fellow, I'm sure. So what about this supposed partner of yours? Did he really exist or no? Ah, you've come straight to the point, I see. And please come straight to the answer. I believe Iris explained it in one of her installments. He was a trusted comrade and the only person I could truly have called a friend. And did this partner of yours truly make a record of all your cases? Are his notes really stored inside that metal chest? Absolutely, my dear madam. Absolutely. So, where's your partner now? We rarely meet. You see, he lives on the other side of the world. But if the autopsy report and the records of all your old cases were penned by the same hand, and if the autopsy report was written, though not signed, by your famous partner, there would be one logical conclusion. Pray, impress me. Your partner would have to be Yujin Mikotoba. In other words, Miss Susato's father. Hey! Crazaloo, welcome to the stream. The entire thing is fiction, my dear fellow. We're in a video game, after all. I know, I was gonna say. Wilson is not the apprentice or the partner to Sholmes here. This is all wrong. But how are you today, Crazaloo? I hope you're doing good. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? You are coming along wonderfully. You have hit upon the method at last. You finally grasp the art of deduction. You mean to say... Allow me to introduce you to my great friend and partner, Mikotoba. Professor Mikotoba! He's alive! He wasn't killed after all by the glove. Does this mean that you're the real Dr. Wilson? No, my dear. I'm still my old self, Yujin Mikotoba, your father. Oh, of course. This is obviously too much for Susato-san to take in. I must say, though, how my old friend has attained worldwide celebrity as a great mystery solver is the greatest mystery of all. I still remember the first time we met. Ah, pray remind me, when was it again, Mikotoba? 16 years ago, Sholmes. Ah, yes, quite 16 years ago. I just arrived from Japan with Seishiro and Genshin. I was in search of lodgings close to the hospital, some comfortable rooms at a reasonable price. The rents are devilishly high in that particular area. That's right, so I decided I needed someone to share lodgings and the expense, and was fortunate enough to be introduced to Sholmes, who found himself in a similar situation. I was a callow fellow back then, a mere shadow of the great detective that you see before you now. I was working at the hospital's chemical laboratory at the time, indulging my curiosities for little gain. And the situation of our cohabitation led us to pursuing cases together, you see. Hard to believe, it was a mere 6 years. We had a great many adventures. But in the last year Mikotoba stayed in Britain, that most infamous of case presented itself. A case with which you become rather familiar yourselves, the Professor's killing. Professor Killings. After the trial, Seishiro and I were summoned back home. Hardly surprising, given the circumstances. So there you have it. And as you know, all the details recorded by my trusty chronicler remain in that metal chest. This is just amazing. Professor Mikotoba really is Mr. Sholmes' famous partner. Father. Goodness, my dear, what a cunning look. As your daughter, I'm very proud to learn that you are the great detective's great partner. But, nevertheless, there's another mystery that I really must ask you to explain now. And that is? You know very well what it is. The unresolved matter of Iris's father. Ah, of course, I'd almost forgotten about that one. Susato is fangirling, so not. She's doing something. That's for sure. I should have seen this coming, I suppose. Alright, Iris's father. Iris told us that all the notes about the great detective's adventures that are in that metal chest were written by her father. Isn't that correct, Mr. Sholmes? That is indeed what I told young Iris. But if you're Mr. Sholmes' partner, Father, and you wrote all those case notes, then Iris's father must be you. Ah! Upon my word, Miss Susato. You are coming along wonderfully as well. You too have hit upon the method at last. You finally grasped the art of deduction. What? What you've always told me, Father, is that my mother died when I was born 16 years ago, and you left me in grandmother's care whilst you embarked on your study tour of Britain, and I've always accepted that. But all this about Iris... Oh, there it is, Susato-san's icy cold stare. No, now hold on a minute. It wasn't very complicated. I mean, it's really not what you think. And perhaps you'd like to explain exactly what it is. There it is, how the eyes go from ice cold to red hot, just before she... No, really, you've got the wrong end of the stick. Sholmes, say something, man. Susato toss. That's quite enough, my fiery fellows. But Mr. Sholmes, when did he get all dressed up? Whilst I don't like to interrupt this exciting exploration of the past, Mikotoba and I have an urgent matter that requires a short excursion. But it's very late, Mr. Sholmes. Where must you go? Why, my dear madam, is that not obvious? My partner and I must pursue our natural enemies. So, get your coat, Mikotoba. The game is afoot. But Sholmes, I really must give Susato a full explanation, I think. Later, my dear fellow, later. Our carriage awaits downstairs already. You haven't changed one iota, have you? I mean, really, I visit our home after 10 long years, and when I open that chest in a fit of nostalgia, I quite inexplicably pass out. And as if that wasn't enough, when I eventually regain consciousness, I'm plunged straight into all this. Father, please, go with Mr. Sholmes now. What? I've no doubt that whatever happened, you were acting in everyone's best interests. I trust you completely. Susato. And sending the great detective and his great partner off on renewed adventures together is more than I could have hoped for in my wildest dreams. Very well then, we'll speak again later. So, I believe your own work is done for the day. I wish you the best of luck for tomorrow. Yes, Naruhodo, good luck in battle, and in reaching a decision. A decision about whether to go back to Japan, I suppose. Mikotoba has certainly had quite the day, I know.
So much happened that day that I barely knew what to do with myself.
Punched in the gut. And then thrown into all this shenanigans. And gosh knows what else is gonna happen.
It would only be later that I'd come to realize how amidst the chaos I'd unleashed were all the clues I needed to finally unearth the truth. And that all the turmoil was necessary to give me the resolve to see everything through.
The resolve! Is it trial time? You know what time it is? It's end of case 4 time! Yay! By the way, Captain Chips, how long until I show my friend the Titanic movies, huh? How, when? And time for the final chapter, guys! Here we go! Save it for the end of summer. I might wait a bit longer than that. Aw, there's no introduction. That's fine. So, the time's finally come. Today, we unravel everything. Is that really how it starts? Normally the cases end with a little cutscene, or start with a little cutscene. Don't save. Just let me see something. This theme is different? I guess so. Press any button. So I guess there is no loading cutscene? I'm assuming you played this game before, right, Krazalu? You've beaten it all the way. We'll just load then. Let's just load and let's just go for it. Hey, Esther dude. No cutscene. Very interesting. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Miss Susato. You have? Nice. Did you like it? Were these games up to par with the other Ace Attorney games? In your opinion? Miss Susato? Ah! Dead. Game over. Alright, everyone go home. Game over, guys. We're dead now. Oh no! What's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Peak of the franchise this case. Ooh! I can't wait to play it then, to dive in. Nothing? I was just saying that I'll be relying on your support today. But... Give me a second, guys. Okay. I'm so sorry, of course. I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but... I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet, then? Oh dear, I'm really very sorry. Seconded. Susato-san isn't her usual self at all, but that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She's just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective, not to mention... Ah! Good morning, sir! Oh boy. Lord Van Zieks. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. What? Did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says, I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Lord Van Zieks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. This OST's so tense. I do like it. I do like all of the waiting in the lobby music. The Reaper, I suppose in hindsight. I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend that led to all this. But you're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zieks. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, is it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. Well, that having been slain by the evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod to wield a deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not. Yes, we've heard that story too. When I lost him, it sucked. I felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. Even if I knew it was just an illusion, just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you, Lord Clint Van Zieks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know that you didn't take anyone's life, and I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. I never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes, that burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity. Thank you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Hi! Oh, Iris, when did you get here? Oh. I brought you one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him clear his head. That's surprisingly wholesome. Yeah, quite enjoyed that. Same for Iris's tea giving. I thank you. Oh, hee hee. That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh? Sort of subdued, I suppose. I am not. What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Scythe's laboratory. Alright then. Good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Oh, you're not staying? I thought you wanted to watch today's proceedings. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready? For what? Oh, yes! Would you take this? Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yes, it's a lucky charm, a little Hurley that I made once. A Hurley? It looks more like a Harley to me. Harley, rather. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears and as hard as you possibly can. What? Pull his ears? That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it. You think? What will need his luck? Let's investigate, guys. What a charming little rabbit version of Mr. Sholmes. Do you suppose this is how Iris sees him? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Your eyes are veritable, boring into the poor doll's ears. Oh, sorry, I was just wondering, what do you suppose would happen if I were to tug its ears with all my might right now? I'm sure that we'll find out when the time is right. To become a proper gentleman, you really must learn stoic patience. But I want to know. This doll was the murder weapon, guys. That's not Herlock. It is. It is Herlock, Sholmes. In rabbit form. Apparently. I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom. And it seems very different to normal. Yes, it would seem that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. What does that mean? What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night and he hasn't come home by the time I left this morning. Oh, I see. Was Professor Mikotoba out all last night too? What do you think, Miss Susato? Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all. They? Father and Judge Jigoku, I mean. Judge Jigoku too? That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Good luck then, Runo. Good luck, Susie. Yes, thanks, Iris. And you too, Mr. Reaper. Hope it goes well. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad. We must go inside now, Lord Van Zieks. Lord Van Zieks has always been this formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend Kazuma Asogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. Van Zeek's being nice with that face is impossible to see. It's a strange sight, for sure. Yo, it's the 3rd of November, guys! Let me see. It's 8 more days until my birthday! Yo! Still no, jury. It feels even more oppressive in here than it did yesterday. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today. No judge? Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, look! Oh. Lord Strongheart! Well, there's no judge, but he's here instead. Kazuma must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of the condemned criminal on the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, Mel Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. Oh boy. The 6 jurors' flames just... As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here, present in the public gallery, are distinguished members of our judiciary, assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zeeks. You were a prosecutor of exceptional talent. This is getting complicated. This is the finale where we don't even end with the normal judge. Oh yeah, this is the finale for sure. The big showdown. Much like your brother Clint, in fact. Oh boy. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare the court to be in session. For the trial of Barak Van Zeeks, who officially stands accused of murder. Counsels for the prosecution and defense, are you in full readiness to proceed? The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. New trial theme? Oh, new trial theme. We are really showing the final, it's the final. I don't even know what I just said there, but that's what's happening. Mr. Delay Vigil, who would be given the inspector's identification and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work, when in fact he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation, because whilst he was engaged as a chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Signers. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. Not gonna lie, the twist about Gregson was probably one of the twists of all time. One of the twists. One of the big twists, or one of the twists? He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed 1 day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. Shocking twists. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Asogi. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on the 31st of October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details, but the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday, that the time of death was 5 p.m. on 1st of November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. A shocking twist. Edgeworth quit possessing Asogi. I know, right? No, I think Edgeworth is inside of Asogi right now. I think Kazuma is the one, the ancestor person. Oh, bye, Minim. See you tomorrow. Have a good one. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes, especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Genshin's apprentice is Von Karma's ancestor. Oh my gosh. So many, just twists and twists and all that stuff, huh? Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding these activities? Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work, so the prosecution calls its first witness now. I think the murderer is her. Obviously her. State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade, reporting, representative of Scotland Yard. A self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina? Again? What's your problem, Odo? What's with that Gina again? Look, Huh? The boss meant the world to me. He's done more for me than anyone else ever did. Oh, Inspector Gregson, you mean? He got me out of the back slums of the East End and took me under his wing. Taught me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right, all out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes. No. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. That face, what Strongheart knew. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says in that report. Coming right up, sir. Oh, your detectives are supposed to follow the orders and investigate what they're told. But a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is, there was witnesses who saw the Reaper at the place too. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines, goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at irregular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets. It's been suggested that high-rank government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge. Your cat did it? Stars. Tell your cat not to do it. Tell your cat to stop murdering people. Ugh. I thought it was Mafia's sister that did all the murders at one point. Remember that? And so, do we know where the dealings were taking place this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club, and on that day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. That can't be. We haven't heard anything about any of this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Barak von Zeeks, was present. That would be very significant testimony then. Oh my, but Lord Van Zeeks has made no mention of this at all. In short, Lord Van Zeeks has ample opportunity to murder the victim. Yeah, Angel Love. She was the one when she came here all the time. Oh, very well then. Counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. Have the guide at the ready, guys, because knowing me, I'm gonna get stuck many times. All Yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigations. So, you follow orders, do you, Gina? Nah, not me. I'm above all that, see? Oh. The boss always had special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips or go and give Toby his grub, that kind of thing. So, errands more than orders, then. This detective is still an apprentice, after all. Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't one to sit around and wait to be told what to do, even by the boss. That's why I've been doing my own investigations until what happened. I didn't find much at first. But a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it.
Hold it!
So you went through Inspector Gregson's things? Yep, as part of the independent Lestrade investigation. I'm sure your superiors would be delighted that you're taking the initiative. So I snuck into his office when no one else was about. Cause if anyone at the Yard had seen me going in there, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street. This is sounding less and less like an investigation and more like something else. The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook. You got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and their trusty assistant, Chief Inspector Toby. We found it hidden in one of the desk drawers that had a false bottom. That's impressive. So then I went to hide myself when no one could find me, and I could have had a butcher's at what was written in it. Cause if anyone in the Yard found me out, they'd have turfed me straight out onto the street. I've given it in now, though, ain't I? And if it weren't for me, it would have never been found. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealing that day. Was that? Okay, never mind.
Hold it!
Thought we got the book as evidence, but guess not yet. Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place? Yep. It was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember. As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at the Gentleman's Club. Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings. I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I've got to do is read it out. And I could too. I got this reading game buttoned up now. Can I show you what I can do? Go on. What's the arm? The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? I'll save just in case it's the wrong answer for some reason. This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord, the prosecution has no objection. Kazuma? There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. If the defense requires to know about the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obstructive. Right then, I get to show off me reading skills. Apparently, the smuggled goods deal was gonna happen at the gentleman's club called The Grouse.
Hold it!
The Grouse? The Grouse? The Grouse? What sort of a club is that? I ain't got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing. New York's hottest club is Grouse. It's got everything. Grossy? That's how you say it? Why are words confusing? But I am kinda curious. There are not places where a foreign student like you would be readily admitted. Have you looked in the mirror recently? I tell you what, me and Chief Inspector Toby could go in undercover. Could you, though? Grow is a word, isn't it, frack? Yeah, but grow and then C, it looks like grouse, not grossy. I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway, that's where these black market dealings were going to take place, is it? Hey, Foursquare, what's up? Who is sus here? I don't know yet. I do not know who the murderer of this case is yet, but we're gonna find out eventually, right? It's pronounced like house, so it is grouse. Okay, cool. But yeah, how have you been, Foursquare? Yeah, it's gotta be. That's what the lower-ranking detectives at the yard reckon. Says the even lower-ranking detective. It's fine. All's good. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet.
Hold it!
So how had Inspector Gregson come to find out about it in that case? That's the question, ain't it? But I'm just an apprentice, so... And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Yeah, that's what I'm asking myself, 'cause, you know, I'm just an apprentice. When it suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on in that club, no question. You can't say that for certain, though, surely. You are hype? Ooh, what's the hype? Have you investigated all your evidence yet? I should have. I investigated everything up to this rabbit thing. What matters most is there's a witness who saw the Reaper at the place too.
Hold it!
Lord Van Zeeks was at the club? He was. Detectives who visit the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Several members report having seen the accused being admitted to the room in question as a guest. Good little recharge work has been a bit draining lately. Oh no. Pesky work. I'm glad you're relaxing at home, by the way. By the way, Foursquare, you haven't been hyped about, Christmas in a long time, so I'll give you some credit. Well done. Congrats, my friend. Your cat is happy listening to Ultima. She's making biscuits. Ah, love it. She's making biscuits, or are you making biscuits? You're making... I'm so confused by that last statement you said there, Stars. It looks like there's no disputing that he was there then. Well, we know that Lord Van Zeeks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he'd already discovered the inspector's secret notebook, which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably, then, there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there? FF9 birthday coming up. Ooh, what day is that gonna be? None have been identified at this time, no. So, the all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. Oi, why ain't you asking Inspector Lestrade, eh? So that's all I've got to work with. Gina's not holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she? I really don't know what to make of all this. Lord Van Zeeks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident. July 7th. Ooh, nice. In a couple of months. cat is. That's what some people call it when cats need the air or blankets. Oh, I've never heard of that before. That's silly. That's not the only way to explain this. Oh! If everything Lord Van Zieks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. You mean there are details we've yet to uncover? Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed. That's what we should be looking for here. I didn't see a single thing. Maybe it's on this one? Can someone tell me if I have to present evidence on this page here? I have to present evidence on this page here, on this slot. Time for the guide, guys. I needs it. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you, Foursquare. You're awesome. Angel Love did it. Angel Love did it. I should have known. 19 months. That's a long time, Foursquare. Thank you so much. There should be the new statement you get after pressing statement 3. Yeah, I'm on it. Which page is the evidence on? On statement 3, or 4, rather. Wait. New statement you get after 4. After 3. So it is this one. I'm gonna save again just in case. Page 3 on the right. The right meaning, so it's one of these. One additional person. You played FF9 6 years and 2 months ago? That's a long time, sheesh. It is not. Huh? If I can just say it outright? Yeah, you might as well. I'm lost. I don't even know what we're trying to prove here. Feel free to say outright. Sorry, people that are new here. I am an idiot, and I don't know things that well. You're looking for the letter of introduction. That would be on the first page then. Professor Mikotoba has a wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? The dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish I'd at least call you a nice young man. I'm really not sure that would help. Did it say this? Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Gross. First class cabin 001. Yokohama departure 11th of September, London arrival 1st of November. That's the boat that Professor Mikotoba and Judge Chigoko came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it's called the Dunkirk and the north coast of blah 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 blah. I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Buria. It's a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? I could have sworn I did this. I examined everything.
Objection!
I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at the club called The Grouse? The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on 31st October may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? Did you beat the Pokemon game? If you mean the last one I streamed? Yes, I did. At least I assume that that's what you're talking about. But yes, I did. A steamship. You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it. Here. Let me see that. This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. The other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. This would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse, or Grouse. The fan game. Yep. I beats it. I beated it good. So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on 1st November. The day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, 31st October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, the ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection!
The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on 31st October. Alright guys, which page is this one on? Here's our evidence. Which page am I looking for this one? This one is page 3 on the right. So one of these 4, right? Let me save again. Passport maybe?
Take that!
Okay, cool. What's this? A passport for traveling issued to the victim? Dated 31st October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Order, order! This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, who was on board at the port of Dunkirk, France, what could possibly have taken the victim there? Ha 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 ha! I'm impressed, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean, you knew about this? The prosecution strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? And now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Asogi? A courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship dock in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. The Reaper? That gavel. Order, order. What on earth are you saying, Counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper, and he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout who was killed, as I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper. So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was, obviously, an assassination. Barak von Zieks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast-iron alibi, which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson? What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would never have done nothing like that. And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense. No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusions, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper. Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zieks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Barak von Zieks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, suggesting that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh, you have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, you Counsel? Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Professor Mikatoba and Judge Jigoku were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm certain we would have heard about it. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night, with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade. What? The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier, that doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey. You're lying. Even if all them bludgers got taken out at it coming. The boss weren't the Reaper. Poor Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you've spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors. Give me a second. Rumors. I ain't heard nothing, and I don't believe a word of it. And testify again as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss. I don't... I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. Here we go. Yeah, this notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Names of victims, dates, and places and stuff, and the last entry in there was the 31st of October. It said Grouse for the place on the date, and then the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal what got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or summit. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. You require only established fact here. This must be so hard for her. You can't deny it now, surely, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What can't I deny? The notebook contained the name of the final mark and the location where the assassination would take place. Information that the victim could only have known if he was working with the Reaper. Ah! So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on 31st October. Eh? Oh, how do you read this then? Reading's still not her strong suit. That ain't the problem, alright, Odo? It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read. So it's someone from overseas? Let me have a bash at it. Se-ish-iro. Is it? Se-ishiro? Sashiro? Yeah, Seishiro. Jigokyu. Jig-okayu. Maybe? What? It can't be. Seishiro Jigoku? But that's Judge Jigoku. Seishiro Jigoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right.
Objection!
But that can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku. I saw him the day before yesterday here in London. So I know for a fact that the man hasn't been assassinated. As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and return to British shores. But the Reaper won't tolerate the mistake, so he killed the inspector personally. The Reaper of course being the accused, Barak van Zieks. It's an undeniable logical argument. Kazuma, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you?
Hold it!
Ooh, who said that? Oh, him. His cup is back, and his boot. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice whilst I stand accused of murder. Lord Van Zieks? The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally. That girl is no detective. Eh? What? Nah, that's right, I ain't. I'm an inspector. Repeating rumors that heard about around the yard, reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony, it's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you've clearly planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper, who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself, by attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. What did you say? Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance. My lord, the defense requests that the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be a privy to important information relating to the testimony just given by the witness. Very well. I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense to begin the cross-examination immediately. At once, my lord. Here we go. Yeah, this notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to in these past 10 years.
Hold it!
In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. Not you and all. This ain't the only explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret, and then that notebook said what he found out. If I may. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believed the power to intimidate London's criminal class into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. One arm? What are you on about? The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization. With you at its head, I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I'd been able to check the most recent entry in this book. I knew the location. You knew it said grouse? Believe it to be a reference to the Gentleman's Club. I went there on the day in question to investigate, alone. Ah, so that explains why several members of the club claimed to have seen you there. But of course, the inspector was not there, because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked at the northern coast of France, and shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Very well then, back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook. Fine. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? You seem a little shocked by something a moment ago. Oh, no, it's alright. I'm overthinking this, aren't I? What are you overthinking? Names of victims, dates and places and stuff, and the last entry was the 31st or whatever. Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff. What in particular? Well, besides the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up. What other name was that? It's the one I told you yesterday. The same name, written over and over again. You mean... Asashin? Yeah, that's the one. She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she? Were you even listening yesterday? Asashin. The assassin. What? Like, a killer, you mean? Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable and who to use to get at them. But the person actually executing his plans was someone else, you're saying? If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes. Ah, then perhaps what it said on the passport document. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Could the additional person have been... Clearly the assassin, who was meant to take the Seishiro Jigoku's life. Gina, can you confirm that, against the final entry that listed Grouse and Seishiro Jigoku? What name was written? Oh, well, that's the one entry that didn't have a name next to it, as it happens. What? It just had like a question mark or something there, I think. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. But Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not? Oh, how infuriating. A nameless assassin. It said Grouse for the place on that date, and then the name of the mark.
Hold it!
And you saying that the mark listed was Seishiro Jigoku? That's what it said. Funny name, if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd. So pleased to have lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago, studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. So Lord Strongheart was Judge Jigoku's mentor. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. 10 years ago, after that fateful case. Precisely. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. I didn't think it was possible, but the mood in here has got even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep talking. There was a note about him being a criminal who got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or something.
Hold it!
What do you mean a criminal? Judge Jigoku is no criminal. Well, don't ask me. I don't know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what Father told us? that Judge Jigoku did once appear in court here in Britain? It was related to the Professor case, I'm sure. Yes, of course, you're right. Seishiro was trying to mitigate the Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify, but he got a little carried away and, actually managed to break the witness stand. He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. It was a pitiful situation, yes. I'd forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too as it happens. You did? It was considered to be an adjunct to the Professor proceedings, you see. But he was acquitted after being told to make reparations for the damage caused to the stand. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. That there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike. What? No! Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Jigoku was targeted for assassination? The man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that? Isn't the whole premise of the Reapers absurd, killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond the same person's comprehension. But... Right, I've had just about enough of this. Gina? Oh, this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people. It's cobblers. Come on, Odo. Yes? Why ain't you saying nothing? Why? Why ain't you yelling out objection or something? What? You gotta find a flaw. You do usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You gotta work out who it is. Please, for the boss. That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. Is that clear? I've had it with a lot of you. It's lies every bleeding place you look around the world, innit? Well, I've had enough. Gina. So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Naruhodo? There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Oh, do you mean... I'm not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. Come on, Odo, help! You gotta find a flaw somewhere.
Hold it!
I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. Eh? What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. What? An inconsistency? Really, Odo? I don't quite know what it means yet, but... yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by... Alright, guys. Need help again? Which page? I doubt it's one of these three. Which page is this one on? Here's our people. This one is page 3 on the right. Problem is there is no one on the right. There's not a soul on the right. I can only stay on the left. That was a while back. What was a while back? What are we talking about? What's the answer here for this part? Shuffle back through? Do you mean page through? One of these three? Kazuma? page 2 on the right. Well, Kazuma's the only one who's here in this court. I'm assuming the wrong one is from either the judge, the Van Zeeks, or the Kazuma.
Take that!
So I guess it's Kazuma. By you, Kazuma Asogi. Me? Is this some attempt at filibustering, counsel? Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done. Very well then, counsel. Go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Professor Asogi just said? I wish I remember what he said. There's been a lull in the comments since he said something. Gotcha. Page 3 on the right. I'm gonna assume it's not this. So this, or this. Maybe this again?
Take that!
So, my initial impressions were correct. You're a loser. Okay. There's 2 more chances. I hugely doubt it's the rabbit. I did this one last, right?
Take that!
Okay, it's the trunk for some reason. Why is it the trunk? I do not remember. I wish I remembered what he said.
Take that!
This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. You'll see in a moment. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A bloodstain, and a relatively fresh one, too. What? You meant that ain't grease from all the boss's fish and chips? Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. But I found it, me, with me nose for trouble. Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. I could not have gotten that from that. That means nothing to me. Too much info, guys. Brain overloaded. So the question is, how do you know about the inspector's trunk? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport?
Objection.
But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On 31st October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Kazuma, what did you... I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma was there on the ship, then it could only have been for one purpose. Oh no, Mr. Naruhodo, surely you don't think... Come on, Ryunosuke, you know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Kazuma, are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector? He was there, with Gregson? There's a clue that you overlooked, a secret that trunk can tell us. I can't be sure at this point, I'll need to verify it, but I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Oh. Where is the evidence that ties Professor Asogi to the thing? And as usual, I have no idea. Maybe this for some reason? Did this sword do that or something? This is your proof. What do you say to that, Prosecutor Asogi? Personally, I think tying to the defense's counsel to the inspector's trunk as tossing it to the sea would be more helpful. Okay. Pop it open? Oh. Pop it open. Let's have a look inside. Pop it open. It's in the lower right corner. This paper? What do you mean lower right? You might need to be more specific because I can change what the lower right is. See the shard in the wall of it? No, I did not see this. If you hadn't pointed this out, I could have stared at this for days and not have seen this. Do you see that? There's something stuck in the side of the trunk there. It's glinting. It looks like a fragment of metal of some sort, but it's wedged in so tightly I can't remove it. Well, don't cut yourself. You better leave it, I think. Yeah, there's no way in hell I would have seen this.
Got it!
There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like the tip of a blade. Eh? A blade? Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karuma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it, here in this courtroom, for all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Asogi like a hawk. That won't be necessary. Uh-oh. Oh no! The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Kazuma Asogi. Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Asogi? Yes, on 31st October I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? What? You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jigoku? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk. But I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to do it? We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Jigoku arrived safely in London the following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We traveled to Dover, from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk, and we boarded the SS Grouse and made it for the cabin deck, as indicated as in the plan. Went to Judge Jigoku's cabin? Exactly. He wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at the boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house in Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify. Then, what became of Jigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? I don't need to answer that. The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to this case, and accordingly, I chose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. We must take immediate action now. Yep, time to examine the sword. All the way through. Karuma, the great blade. It's such a thing of beauty, I want to gaze on it for hours. The tip of the great sword, broken. It's such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. I can almost hear Karuma's sobs. Kazuma must have really taken a swing for that to happen. Anything on the hilt? Nope. Alright, cool. We must take immediate action to verify whether Seishiro Jigoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How did you... When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zeeks? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd been able to tell you. Order! Order in the court! Order! We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now? Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst. Oh no! Not Judge Jigoku! No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who only just arrived in the country. Except, that is, for the Reaper, one wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake... My lord? I sincerely hope we are successful. If we are unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's unhealthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Ah! Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. Uh-oh. Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either, but on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories. I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. If something awful has happened to Judge Jigoku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were carrying careering toward a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear. Of course! The little Mr. Sholmes doll that Iris gave us. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, just pull this little Hurley's ears and as hard as you possibly can. Perhaps now's the time. What should I do? Pull Hurley's ears or not? I'm assuming pull, right? Is now the time for pull or no? I'm gonna get a drink real quick. Pull it. Pull. We're using our lifeline like immediately. Oh dear. Here it goes then. I'm going to do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo. No looking back. Heave. Ow. That scream sounded like Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes? Where are you? Here, my dear fellow. Here. It's the felt doll talking. Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright then, I'll pull all my strength into it. Heave. Ow. Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse. The SS Grouse? She left Dover last night after the final pieces of the cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the streets of the Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station, and by train to the port, in order to board this vessel in time. So you mean you're already worked it out? That the steamship was where everything really took place? Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name? Herlock Sholmes, world-famous Greek detective. Recited to perfection. Well done. You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it. Ow, 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 ow. Mr. Susato, gently with the genius's ear, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. If I may, Sholmes. Ah, there you are, Mikotoba. You may remember that it was in fact I who made the connection to the SS Grouse at Scotland Yard yesterday when we examined that notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket. Ha 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 ha. But of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert the fact I merely had our court-bound companions under my name. Yes, you did, didn't you? You've just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads, then I'm afraid to say... Do not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt we shall have welcome news for you within the hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later, then. Yes, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow, 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 ow. I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver operating in that way in the first place, Sholmes? Why the deuce would I know? It's Iris's invention, not mine. Well, that is adorable. Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes, we have but half that now before the Grouse puts to sea again. We don't conclude our investigations rapidly. We shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikotoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin. Oh gosh, we're on the ship again, guys. And are we in control of Mikotoba? Is that what's going on here? First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. but I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to be plain sailing. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow. Why you are loitering here? Who are you? My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you? Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor Chicken Stroganoff when you see? Great detective? Ha, I don't think so. Do you see that, Mikotoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. Goodness me, is that a tattoo that says Sholmes? I must say, while such adoration is flattering, naturally, it does leave me a little cold. What are you talking about? Leave, now! How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. And yet, I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman, currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. How could you know this? An elementary, my dear Mikotoba. I'm sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see? We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku. There is no one with this name on board, but we know that he purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Eastern man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk, he said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? So Seishiros realized that we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please. No! I have orders not to let even mouse inside. Mikotoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse so that he leaves the area. Doesn't great detective see that even sailors have ears both left and right? Curses! The plan is ruined! And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside. Mikotoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Opening any lock? Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner. How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? I need to distract the burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man. So, the game is afoot. Great. Bell, maybe? This would appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it. Okay, what do I do, Captain Chips? What, thing do I activate here? I do see a mousetrap down there, too. I see another thing here. So what should I do, Captain Chips? I hope you're still here. Screaming at this, maybe? Captain Chips, are you still here? Check the bell. This bell? Or this bell? Ah, the switch for the electrical lights. Oh, that's a switch. Turn off the lights. Looks like you already checked the bell. Hang on. While I checked the bell, I never activated the bell. Should I activate the bell or just check it? Well, oh, set that puppy off. Alrighty. Here goes then. Pardon me in advance. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. You, what are you doing? If we were at sea, that would be a very bad problem. What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganoff, report at once. Sorry, sir. Nothing to report. It was just a stupid trick. No, not by me. By world famous. No, as I told you. Now, Sholmes, now. Done. Not even 5 seconds, eh? Well, don't just stand there gawping at my brilliance, Mikotoba. In we go. Oh, yes. Watchy's in here, like, taking a crap or something. Just a very inappropriate scene for some reason. Good gracious. It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes on the floor there, they're Seishiro's without question. Well, it seems we are just a little too late. Yes, by about 2 hours. Still, whilst we were here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may well be 2 hours' worth of clues to find in here, but that burly crewman may return at any moment, Sholmes. Indeed he may. Well, which makes this all the more thrilling. Guess we're examining things again. Like this. There's a speaking tube here, look, though it's been stoppered with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose. Or indeed, so that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere. Could something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, do you think? Either that, or it should be to prevent snakes from entering. That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? Yeah, that was a case, alright. Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here how it... Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trailed off. Ice, Mikotoba, ice. What opulences the first-class passengers enjoy. Chilled drinks. Pardon? Could it be that this steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think? Well, it is a luxury liner, after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world. Suddenly, Mikotoba. The sight of you is making my mouth water. I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know. Sholmes, I worry about you. This is the waste paper basket. Look, there's still rubbish inside. Indeed, then let us pray. I've discovered recently that I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets. Sincerely hope for your work. Ah. Here we have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago. 3 days ago? The night before we arrived in London, then? Well, I was still aboard myself. Following departure from the port of Dunkirk. Symbol on the main deck. Oh, I missed it. Ah, yes, there was an excavation drill, I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. So it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. Okay. I can't look at the evidence, apparently. These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and/or travel cases. I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination. What about the fact that they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you? You may be right. Probably just your imagination, though. A trifle. And you know what I always say, Mikotoba? There is nothing important about trifles. Probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. Let's do this. According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Asogi's wardrobe. Indeed he was, and it was of a similar size to this one. Ah, you must climb inside yourself, my dear fellow. What? Whatever for? It was the site of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. This will only take a moment. Really, Sholmes, surely you can't just tell me what you said? Well, I uttered some brilliant remarks and opened the wardrobe to reveal the stowaway murderer. I think I'll just read about it in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Alright, we have a case here. It's a very sizable trunk indeed. Seishiro is partial to all things large, and a rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he left that behind. Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Pity. It's locked, so we can't look inside. Surely 5 seconds from now the situation will become quite different, though? Sadly not. It has a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in the morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present. Oh dear. I don't like that. I think we need a 7 combination lock, guys. But with the heaps of clothes on the floor, I think I gotta end the stream right here. In 2 days, we'll get even more farther in this game. And I don't think we'll beat it, but maybe we will, but maybe we won't. But take care, guys. See you tomorrow for hopefully not too much rage in Lunar 2. Be well. Love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.